want to have a party, a rave, a good time. Okay, now, let's find a place where they can have what they want that don't disrupt anyone else's life. So they can have their experience that they want and no one else is affected. Everyone's a bloody winner. This is either or. Someone must win, so someone must lose, so someone could win. Old epoch consciousness. Winner, winner, win, win. That's the new consciousness. I stand upon my desk to remind myself that we must constantly look at things in a different way. You see, the world looks very different from up here. You don't believe me? Come and see for yourselves. And it does. When you move your point of observation, the world looks so different. When we break out of constantly scanning the world from a single point of observation, so everything looks the same. From a higher point of observation, things look very, very different. And we can break out into infinite consciousness. Clear our minds. That's another thing, another layer on the onion. It doesn't matter. My goodness me, how we make things matter that don't matter. And it clutters up our mind, it clutters up our emotions, and holds us in low vibrational servitude. I have a thing I call the deathbed perception. You're lying on your deathbed, well, your body is, you're not, and you've got 10 minutes to live. Tell me, looking back at your life, what mattered. You know, in 2004, when that guy cut you up at the lights, and you got out your car and you screamed abuse, and he got out and wanted a fight, does that matter now? No. Then the trick is to make sure it doesn't matter then. To bring that mentality into everyday life. It doesn't matter. We get het up, angry, frustrated. We worry about things. People worry about going to the dentist. Then they go to the dentist and they go, oh, that was all right. What do you mean it was all right? You've been worried sick for 3 weeks. It's destroyed your life for 3 weeks. You tell me it's all right. It was no problem. It's bringing this. It does. What really matters? What really matters is loving each other, caring for each other, being kind to each other. What matters is expressing our true magnitude of infinite genius, not acquiescing to meaningless things that we take so bloody seriously. How many things do we look back that got us really het up, frustrated and angry, and we look back, it didn't really matter, did it? Well, don't let it matter then. That's the thing. And then there's what I've long called combing the mirror. Combing the mirror is a crazy thing, because what happens is you want to change your hair, so you comb the mirror. Funnily enough, your hair doesn't change. What you have to do is comb your hair, and then the mirror reflects it. And this so-called out there world is like the mirror. It's not even out there. It's a projection of in here. If we're going to change this apparently out there world, we have to change in here. It's like if this is a movie screen, and I don't like the movie, so I'm going to stand here and I'm going to hurl abuse at the movie screen. Nothing's going to change. I've got to go back to the projector and I've got to change the reel, and then this will change, because this is just an outplaying of that. And the Illuminati control system is delighted, indeed encourages us to believe that we can change the world, if you like, and our lives out there. They want us to comb the mirror because they know nothing's going to change. This is where things change, and we connect with this at what we call the subconscious mind. And it's in the subconscious mind that we interact with this waveform construct. The conscious mind experiences the play-out holographic world, the decoded world. So this is where we have to change things. Because by the time it hits this screen, this holographic decoded world, it's like the movie on the screen. It's a done deal. You ain't got to change that now. You ain't got to change this now. We have to change it before we decode it into experienced holographic reality. There are some people I've been reading, they say 98% of human decisions are made by the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind. I would go further. I'd say 100% of human decisions are made by the unconscious mind. What the conscious mind does is experience them. But the conscious mind can interact and work as one with the unconscious mind if it starts to understand the way reality works. How do we understand what's going on in the unconscious mind? So therefore we can play a part in changing that. By what I call the language of life. The play-out holographic world of experience is a mirror of the information construct. In other words, our unconscious mind in many senses. And the way it plays out, the language of life as I call it, tells us what's going on in the unconscious. And therefore we can play a part together, unconscious and the whole of self, in changing and clearing out what is happening in the unconscious, which is playing out in the experienced conscious holographic world. For instance, do things keep recurring in our lives over and over and over again? You'll never guess, it's only happened again. Well, why is that happening to you over and over again and not happening to him at all? What is it within you that's manifesting this? What is it telling you? What is the language of life telling you by what you're now continually experiencing? Why don't things work in your life, but they work in this person's life? What is that telling you? What is it about you that's making it not work? What is it about them that's making it work? The language of life. And you can start to read this. And it's about taking responsibility and saying, oh God, I'm so unlucky, nothing ever happens to me. It's like taking responsibility, power. Why is this happening to me? What is it about me that means this is happening to me and not to them? It's the language of life. He's talking to us. For instance, one of the things that totally bloody controls human experience is a desire for outcomes. We're all possibility. If we live as all possibility, our true self, then we're flowing. We're flowing with life. We haven't got an outcome because we're all possibility. We flow where we want to go and we flow where life takes us. Once you have an outcome, I want this, then you have pinned yourself to one possibility. And if that possibility doesn't happen, then you're in a state of disappointment. Even though you're all possibility and you can flow anywhere you like. I'm this what I want to be. And it's like a door. And people go through life and they're going, bang, bang. I want to be this. This is my outcome. Bang. And the door's going and life's going, ain't opening. Ain't opening. Bang, bang. Frustration. Anger. Why me? And it gets more, okay, now we're going to put this across the door. And they still go, bang, bang. This is my outcome. And then all the time this is going on, over here, there's a door swinging open saying, hey, come through me, no problem. Oh no, I want to be this, bang. And we go through life, and the door doesn't open, and that one's saying, over here. But because we have an outcome, it means it controls our life. And like I said earlier, and suppresses our life. I don't have an outcome. I don't have an outcome. When I get up in the day, I don't have an outcome. I don't have an outcome in my life. I just go where it takes me. Outcomes are limitations, preconceived ideas. Now, intent is a very, very powerful force for change. This is my intent. That energy goes out there, and through what I call vibrational magnetism, it draws towards us what we need to do to achieve that intent. Not when there's an R in the month, and every now and again, every time. So when we have this intent, I want to be truly free. I want it to be the true magnitude of how I am. I want to know what's going on in the world. I want to understand this. What happens is that intent, if you mean it, it's not just words, otherwise it's no power at all, then that intent will start drawing to you people, places, experiences which let you achieve that intent. And often they are very challenging, and your whole life, your old life starts to break down as a result of this. A lot of people go if that's transforming, no thanks, and we go back to the old life. But intent, if we mean it, is the first stage of transforming our lives from what they are to what they could be. The thing about intent, however, that it's the need to sync the intent with what the language of life is telling us. Because if you sync the intent with that door that ain't meant to open, then you can have a very powerful experience called frustration. Because the intent then is not going to open the door, because it ain't meant to open, because it ain't your journey. I have this thing: flow equals go, stuck equals chuck. Or at least look again at what you're trying to do and how you're trying to do it. It might be how you're trying to do it that's not stopping it flowing. But in the end, life is not meant to be a bitch and then you die. It's not meant to be a series of frustrations and barriers. It's meant to flow. That's what we are. And if it's not flowing, then the language of life is saying something about us. Why isn't it flowing? And interestingly, I've experienced this so many times. I know other people have too. Once you acknowledge what the experience you're having is, maybe one you don't like, is saying about you, you acknowledge it, you bring it to the conscious, boom, there's an energy shift and the problem disappears. The pain in the arse in your life goes out because you've acknowledged it, you've read the language of life, and therefore you don't need to experience that anymore and come to that understanding, because you have, and it's gone. Taking responsibility. It's a very, very fundamental part of this transformation. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, in order to avoid facing their own soul. And not taking responsibility is the absolute epitome of giving your power away. When we say it's all your fault that I'm in this situation, whether it's collectively or individually, what we're saying is, I don't have power over my life, you do. Taking responsibility is taking your power back and saying, okay, I'm taking responsibility for this because I have the power to change it. They're not responsible for it. They're not. They're just the language of life speaking to me about my responsibility. Therefore, I'm not going to play the blame game. This is my responsibility and I'm going to deal with it. And when we do that, we take our power back and we can change things instead of going through life as a victim of other people's circumstance, which means we're powerless. That's little me. And we ask ourselves, why me? Why am I going through this experience? Well, through the process of vibrational attraction, vibrational magnetism, an expression of us is going out, and an expression of us comes back in the form of people, experiences, locations, jobs, everything. So therefore, what we're putting out is what we're pulling in. Why me? Because we're creating it. Bad luck, good luck, no such thing. Why do some people win, some people lose? Because some people pull that in, some people pull that in. You get people who they say, you meet them and they say, nothing ever happens in my life. And you say, well, what would you like to happen? And they go, well, I don't know really. Well, I don't know really goes out as a vibrational information field, and what comes back is a life where nothing happens. Why? Because you don't know really. So we're not victims. We think we're victims, and the control system wants us to believe we're victims, because then we will do nothing to change the fact that we're not expressing the power that we have. Why me? Ask yourself, because it's your choice. It's your choice and my choice in the sense of there's not some guy with an AK-47 on some other dimension saying to our consciousness, get in that body or I shoot. And in the same way, once we get in here, we attract what we attract. And when we take responsibility for that, we can stop attracting it. Why me? It's like the Oracle said in the Matrix. You've already made the choice. Now you have to understand it. You didn't come here to make the choice, you've already made it. You're here to try to understand why you made it. And as the message from the psychic 20 years ago said, arduous seeking is not necessary. The path is already mapped out, you only have to follow the clues. We are guiding you along a set path. If we get caught in mind and the limitations of mind, then we can not go along that path.